Welcome to Sayya YouTube channel. Today we're going to explain about Art of War Introduction. According to an old story, a lord of ancient China once asked his physician, a member of a family of healers, which of them was the most skilled in the art. The physician, whose reputation was such that his name became synonymous with medical science in China, replied, "My eldest brother sees the spirit of sickness and removes it before it takes shape, so his name does not get out of the house. My elder brother cures sickness when it is still extremely minute, so his name does not get out of the neighborhood. As for me, I puncture veins, prescribe potions, and massage skin, so from time to time my name gets out and is heard among the lords." Among the tales of ancient China, none captures more beautifully than this the essence of the art of war, the premier classic of the science of strategy and conflict. A Ming Dynasty critic writes of this little tale of the physician. What is essential for leaders, generals, and ministers in running countries and governing armies is no more than this. The healing arts and the martial arts may be a world apart in ordinary usage, but they are parallel in several senses. In recognizing, as the story says, that the less needed the better, in the sense that both involve strategy in dealing with disharmony, and in the sense that in both knowledge of the problem is key to the solution. As in the story of the ancient healers, in Sun Tzu's philosophy, the peak efficiency of knowledge and strategy is to make conflict altogether unnecessary. To overcome others' armies without fighting is the best of skills. And like the story of the healers, Sun Tzu explains there are all grades of martial arts. The superior militarist foils enemies' plots. Next best is to ruin their alliances. Next after that is to attack their armed forces. Worst is to besiege their cities. Just as the eldest brother in the story was unknown because of his acumen, and the middle brother was hardly known because of his alacrity, Sun Tzu also affirms that in ancient times, those known as skilled warriors won when victory was still easy. So the victories of skilled warriors were not known for cunning or rewarded for bravery. This ideal strategy whereby one could win without fighting, accomplish the most by doing the least, bears the characteristic stamp of Taoism, the ancient tradition of knowledge that fostered both the healing arts and the martial arts in China. The Tao Te Ching, or the way in its power, applies the same strategy to society that Sun Tzu attributes to warriors of ancient times. Plan for what is difficult while it is easy. Do what is great while it is small. The most difficult things in the world must be done while they are still easy. The greatest things in the world must be done while they are still small. For this reason, sages never do what is great, and this is why they can achieve that greatness. Written over 2,000 years ago, during a period of prolonged civil warfare, the art of war emerged from the same social conditions as some of the greatest classics of Chinese humanism, including the Tao Te Ching. Taking a rational rather than an emotional approach to the problem of conflict, Sun Tzu showed how understanding conflict can lead not only to its resolution, but even to its avoidance altogether. The prominence of Taoist thought in the art of war has been noted by scholars for centuries, and the classic of strategy is recognized in both philosophical and political works of the Taoist canon. The level of knowledge represented by the upper reaches of the art of war, the level of invincibility and the level of no conflict, is one expression of what Taoist lore calls deep knowledge and strong action. The Book of Balance and Harmony, Chengho Zhengho Ji, a medieval Taoist work, says, "Deep knowledge of principle knows without seeing. Strong practice of the way accomplishes without striving. Deep knowledge is to know without going out the door, see the way of heaven without looking out the window. Strong action is to grow ever stronger, adapting to all situations." In terms of the art of war, the master warrior is likewise the one who knows the psychology and mechanics of conflict so intimately that every move of an opponent is seen through at once, and one who is able to act in precise accord with situations, riding on their natural patterns with a minimum of effort. The Book of Balance and Harmony goes on to describe Taoist knowledge and practice further in terms familiar to the quest of the warrior. Deep knowledge is to be aware of disturbance before disturbance, to be aware of danger before danger, to be aware of destruction before destruction, to be aware of calamity before calamity. Strong action is training the body without being burdened by the body, exercising the mind without being used by the mind, working in the world without being affected by the world, carrying out tasks without being obstructed by tasks. By deep knowledge of principle, one can change disturbance into order, change danger into safety, change destruction into survival, change calamity into fortune. By strong action on the way, one can bring the body to the realm of longevity, bring the mind to the sphere of mystery, bring the world to great peace, and bring tasks to great fulfillment. As these passages suggest, warriors of Asia who used Taoist or Zen arts to achieve profound calmness did not do so just to prepare their minds to sustain the awareness of imminent death, but also to achieve the sensitivity needed to respond to situations without stopping to ponder. The Book of Balance and Harmony says, comprehension in a state of quiescence, accomplishment without striving, knowing without seeing, this is the sense and response of the transformative Tao. Comprehension in a state of quiescence can comprehend anything. Accomplishment without striving can accomplish anything. Knowing without seeing can know anything. As in the art of war, the range of awareness and efficiency of the Taoist adept is unnoticeable, imperceptible to others, because their critical moments take place before ordinary intelligence has mapped out a description of the situation. The Book of Balance and Harmony says, to sense and comprehend after action is not worthy of being called comprehension. To accomplish after striving is not worthy of being called accomplishment. To know after seeing is not worthy of being called knowing. These three are far from the way of sensing and response. Indeed, to be able to do something before it exists, sense something before it becomes active, see something before it sprouts, are three abilities that develop interdependently. Then nothing is sensed but is comprehended. Nothing is undertaken without response. Nowhere does one go without benefit. One of the purposes of Taoist literature is to help to develop this special sensitivity and responsiveness to master living situations. The Book of Balance and Harmony mentions the transformative Tao in reference to the analytical and meditative teachings of the I Ching, the locus classicus of the formula for sensitivity and responsiveness. Like the I Ching and other classical Taoist literature, the art of war has an incalculable abstract reserve and metaphorical potential. And like other classical Taoist literature, it yields its subtleties in accord with the mentality of the reader and the manner in which it is put into practice. The association of martial arts with Taoist tradition extends back to the legendary Yellow Emperor of the 3rd millennium BCE, one of the major culture heroes of China and an important figure in Taoist lore. According to myth, the Yellow Emperor conquered savage tribes through the use of magical martial arts taught him by a Taoist immortal, and he is also said to have composed the famous Yin convergence classic, Yin Fu Qing, Yin Fu Jing, a Taoist work of great antiquity traditionally given both martial and spiritual interpretations. Over 1,000 years later, warrior chieftains overthrowing the remnants of ancient Chinese slave society and introducing humanistic concepts of government composed the classic sayings of the I Ching, another Taoist text traditionally used as a basis for both martial and civil arts. The basic principles of the I Ching figure prominently in Sun Tzu's Science of Political Warfare, just as they are essential to individual combat and defense techniques in the traditional martial arts that grew out of Taoist exercises. The next great Taoist text after the Yin convergence classic in I Ching was the Tao Te Ching, like the art of war, a product of the era of the Warring States, which ravaged China in the middle of the 1st millennium BCE. This great classic represents the prevailing attitude toward war that characterizes Sun Tzu's manual, that it is destructive even for the victors, often counterproductive, a reasonable course of action only when there is no choice.